Hello and good morning, South Bay. I am Lesley Robbins.
And I'm Tara McNamara.
It is so great to see you again, and it is still the same week of the Super Bowl. Yes, it's not over yet, so we still get to ride high on the big win as our LA Rams, of course, defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 in Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood on Sunday. And to celebrate, a few days later, Exposition Park was transformed into a sea of blue and gold as excited LA Rams fans gathered for the parade and rally to honor the champs. There were cheers, there were bullhorns, and there were even speakers blaring Dr. Dre. That halftime show, my goodness, I'm still watching it. Well, earlier that morning on Super Bowl Sunday, the 44th annual Redondo Beach Super Bowl 10K Run, 5K Run Walk went down, and more than 7,000 runners and walkers competed in that. The baby buggy run and kids runs. The event was canceled last year due to the pandemic. Corey Brunel of Valley Village won the men's 10K in a time of 32:31:04. Lindsay Young of Long Beach won the women's 10K at 40:26:03. Austin Van Bison of El Segundo took first in the men's 5K in 16:14:03. Liz Guarini won the women's 5K in a time of 19:19:04. Joe Eskenazi of Redondo Beach, a 104-year-old World War II veteran and Pearl Harbor attack survivor, was a guest of honor.
Masks are slowly going away as Los Angeles County lifted its outdoor mask mandate this week for both mega events and outside at K-12 schools and child care centers. In early February, County Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer said the county will consider itself out of the current COVID-19 surge when virus-related hospitalizations fall below 2,500 for 7 straight days, a benchmark that was achieved this past Wednesday. As of Tuesday, there were 1,995 COVID-positive hospital patients in the county. California has lifted its indoor mask-wearing requirement for vaccinated people, but the rule will remain in place in Los Angeles County, which plans to maintain its indoor face covering regulation until virus transmission falls more dramatically. Masks will also continue to be required statewide in select indoor settings, most notably in schools.
Torrance's beloved Armed Forces Day Parade, the nation's longest-running city-sponsored military procession, has been canceled for the 3rd consecutive year. Now, the pandemic's nixing of large gatherings prompted the city to cancel the 2020 and 2021 events, but this year, officials have cited Torrance's budgetary concerns and pandemic-related staffing shortages in the police department to once again forego the parade this year. Now, traditionally, the city's Armed Forces Day celebration is a weekend-long affair in May, drawing around 60,000 spectators annually. In 2019, the city celebrated the 60th anniversary of the event.
The State of the Region just took place. It is a highly anticipated annual event hosted by the Torrance Chamber, where Torrance area U.S. House Representatives Maxine Waters of the 43rd District and Ted Lieu of the 33rd District discussed issues of importance to businesses and the local community. Topics of discussion included redistricting, national employee vaccine mandates, inflation, oil prices, crime, housing supply, and antitrust legislation.
Well, Rancho Palos Verdes residents are invited to submit nominations for 2022 Mayor's Honorees. Now, that's an award for unsung local heroes, including those who have served in the military, in law enforcement, and as frontline workers. If selected, the honoree will be presented with a certificate by Mayor Bradley at a city council meeting. Bios are required with submissions. Now, you can complete a form to nominate an RPV resident on the city's website, or you can also email your nomination to the city clerk's office at cityclerk@rpvca.gov.
Shifting gears, remember the Hyperion sewage spill? Well, according to an official report, it was caused by a systems failure and human error. The explanation that a sudden, massive buildup of debris overwhelmed and crippled the Hyperion water reclamation plant in July, forcing officials to release 17 million gallons of raw sewage into the ocean, was upended last Friday, February 11th, when a new report said there was little to no evidence to back that theory, and instead blamed a combination of human and technological mistakes. An official with LA Sanitation, which operates Hyperion, has said that some of the report's recommendations have already been implemented.
Well, on the food front, Starbird, a chicken favorite from the Bay Area, opened its first pop-up kitchen in SoCal this month. But that's just the beginning. The location in the South Bay, Lawndale specifically, is the 11th location in California and the first in the Los Angeles area. Starbird launched in 2016 and is known for its handcrafted, feel-good, crispy chicken and bold flavors. From salads to chicken sandwiches, the pop-up kitchen offers options for any dietary restriction. Starbird is rolling out a limited menu at the location on Hawthorne Boulevard, which will be available from 10:30 a.m. until menu items are sold out each day. The exclusive menu trial in the South Bay will showcase a sampling of Starbird's fan favorites, including Starbird's Szechuan hot sandwich, beginning in March for a limited time only. Now, the company also plans to expand across West LA in 2022 with pop-up locations in Koreatown and Santa Monica in the spring. Other street-side locations are slated for Hollywood and Marina del Rey. A Hermosa Beach location is expected for early summer.
The last Japanese-American farm on the Palos Verdes Peninsula could receive historic designation following a unanimous vote by the Rancho Palos Verdes City Council at its February 15th meeting. The City Council directed staff to explore a national, state, or local landmark designation for Hatano Farm, which has operated since the 1950s. During its discussion of Hatano Farm's future, the council did not, however, overturn its decision to terminate the lease with Martin Martinez. The longtime foreman took over the farm's operation from James Hatano following the founder's retirement in 2014. Rancho Palos Verdes terminated the lease in November to comply with the decades-old requirement that the 5 acres granted to the city by the federal government in the late 1970s be converted to recreational use. Martinez must still vacate in August, the land he's worked for 40 years. But city officials said they might hire him as a city employee or a contractor until they determine the land's future.
Well, advocates for a local parcel tax to benefit Manhattan Beach schools have submitted more than 4,100 signatures to get their initiative before voters. Now, should the initiative become law, it would levy a $1,095 annual tax on parcels across the city for 12 years, generating about $12 million for schools each year. Local advocates say Manhattan Beach schools receive $10,500 in funding per pupil, one of the lowest figures in the state, owing to state funding formulas. Now, to bring the district in line with state funding averages, the local education foundation pays more than $2.5 million in grants to reduce classroom sizes. Should the proposed citizen-led initiative make the ballot, it would face a lower bar for approval. A simple majority of yes votes would pass the new tax law. Okay, speaking of getting things done, our studio guest this week is the new local Marine Corp Recruiter for the South Bay, Sergeant Miranda Ryle. Welcome to the show. Sergeant Miranda, what do I call you?
Sergeant Ryle, Miranda. Miranda's fine.
Miranda, well, welcome. It's great to see you here.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so you're a recruiter. Now, let's start right there. How and why did you take on that role?
So ultimately the reason that I decided to volunteer to be a recruiter is because the Marine Corps, it didn't just change my life, it saved me. And I'm hoping to be able to reach out to young men and women and be able to do the same exact thing for them that the Marine Corps is able to provide for me. We have an endless amount of opportunities and benefits that the Marine Corps provides, and I honestly, I wouldn't even recognize my old self if I didn't join the military.
Okay, you said the words old self and that it saved you.
Yes.
So take me back to life pre-Marines. What was it that you needed saving from?
So I'm originally from a small town in Indiana. I moved out to California in 2017 after I had enlisted in 2016. My life growing up, my parents divorced when I was 5. After that, it was kind of house to house, trying to make ends meet. I went to 5 different schools. I was never in the same area. When I turned 17, I moved out on my own. I was going to high school in the first half of the day, and then the second half of the day I was going to a vocational school, a technical school for nursing. I was going there for that. So when I graduated with 2 diplomas, my vocational school diploma and my high school diploma. I got a job in being a CNA, certified nursing assistant, and then I went to a community college to be an EMT as well. I worked at 2 fire departments as well as being a nurse's assistant. I worked at a volunteer fire department, so I didn't get paid, and then I worked at Batesville Fire EMS, and I actually got paid there. On top of all that, I was also a waitress at a restaurant. So I was working 4 jobs just to make ends meet. I was living on my own at the age of 17, put myself through my senior year of high school. So it was just it just wasn't working for me. I was always trying to make ends meet. I didn't have enough money to go back to college and further my education. And one day a Marine Corp recruiter reached out to me and was like, hey, we can give that to you. We have all these benefits and stuff in order for you to reach your goals that you have. So when it was all pretty much handed to me on a silver platter, I was like, I couldn't pass it up.
So how did that recruiter know that maybe kind of you were looking for something to guide you through life? Because you didn't reach out to them, they reached out to you. Was it kind of just coincidental that you needed that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think honestly, I'm kind of the type of person that's like, oh, it is a coincidence. It's weird that he reached out to me in a time of need and when I actually needed it. I feel like that sometimes it is coincidence, but there's recruiters placed out all through the United States, in every area. And we go to high schools and stuff and introduce ourselves and try and put ourselves out there in order to be an influence or a mentor to young men and women. That's ultimately our goal, is to help change people's lives. But I feel like he reached out to me because, I mean, we do. We look online, and it may sound kind of weird, but we look online, we reach out, we make phone calls, we text people, we go to schools and stuff, and we look for quality young men and women in order to represent our military and be a part of it and take on the opportunities and benefits that we have.
Well, you seem like a sweetheart, and your work ethic is through the roof. It's amazing. So how has the Marines changed your life? Because you're glowing right now.
Oh, thank you. It ultimately has changed my life in many ways. The leadership and mentorship that it's been able to develop me. So I mean, I feel like I already had a little bit of leadership, and I could have been a mentor to people before I joined, because I mean, I was an EMT and I was out there helping save lives and change lives. But it's my love for helping people. But I feel like the leadership that I've gained after joining the military is just outstanding. I've been in charge of young men and women for the last 5.5 years, and I mean, some of them have even gotten out of the Marine Corps already, and they still hit me up all the time, and they're like, how are you doing? And oh my gosh, congratulations, you're now a recruiter. And we keep in touch, and it's changed me also, because I don't just have my family back home in Indiana. I also have the brotherhood and sisterhood, the person to the left of me, the person to the right of me, that I know that no matter what happens, they're always going to have my back. It's changed me. It's made me feel like I just have a purpose, a pride of belonging. It's definitely, it's changed me in more ways than one, that's for sure.
That's amazing. I know going down the freeway towards San Diego, we see Camp Pendleton. I mean, they have thousands and thousands of acres down there. Take us kind of behind the wall of the Marine Corps. Obviously, people know the workouts. They get like a really hard rap, and they're great. Everyone's in shape. But kind of take us behind the wall. What's life like as a Marine?
Life like as a Marine? It kind of just depends. It depends on the job that you have. So my job in the Marine Corps, before a recruiter, I was a motor T operator, so I drove trucks, and I was also cross-trained, so I got on-the-job training. It was kind of like job shadowing. I got training to work on them as well, so I got a lot of mechanics experience, as well as kind of like business experience, because as I ranked up and got more experience in the field, I would then diagnose what was wrong with the vehicles, and then I would order parts for them as well, through a system that we have called GCSS. So it's kind of like I was driving, and then I was a mechanic, and then I did business, and you learn so many different job skills within the Marine Corps. So my life in the Marine Corps, normal day, being motor T, I would wake up, we would go and work out, PT, and then we would go to work by like 08, which is 8 a.m. And then we would stand in a formation, and it's kind of like where we get accountability of everyone. We make sure everyone's there on time, because we don't really like check in or clock in. We kind of stand there with a roster of names, and we call off everyone's name, make sure everyone's there, and then we get to work. And then we would go to, instead of lunch, we called it chow. We would go to chow, and we would have chow for 2 hours. Our chow time is normally pretty lengthy.
It's great.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's beneficial. We can get a lot of personal stuff done. Say other people that like to work out more, they can go to the gym and then they can eat. Or we can, if we have to go to the DMV or something, or go to the grocery store or something, we can do that, because we have grocery stores and stuff on base as well.
Real life to me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we have plenty of restaurants on base to choose from: Sonic, Panda, Chipotle. So I mean, that's kind of like how our day goes, and then afterwards we'll go back to work, finish up work, and then we get final accountability at the end of the day. And then we go home. We go to our barracks room, or we go to on-base housing if we're married or have kids. And then you can just go off base, go out with your friends, go to the beach. It's been nice being in Cali because I can go to the beach. And then we also get 30 days every year of paid leave. So, I mean, we can submit leave, and I mean, I've been to Hawaii, I went up to San Francisco, I went home to Indiana multiple times, driving actually. I don't fly back, I drive back. It's a 31-hour drive.
What? Why?
So, I enjoy,
in case your car breaks down, you know how to fix it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, everyone's like, oh, military, they constantly working, never get free time. No, I've seen more of the world being a Marine than I ever would have being a civilian.
And what are you looking for in men and women when you're recruiting?
Honestly, we're not looking for a certain type of man or woman. It's someone that can benefit from the opportunities that the Marine Corps has to provide, whether it be free college, because we have free college, we have tuition assistance, which you can do while you're in, or we have the GI Bill, which you can take advantage of and go to college while you're out. Now, say you have a wife and kids, or a husband and kids, and you want them to go to college as well. So you can use tuition assistance while you're in, and then when you get out, you can pass that GI Bill on to your husband or your kids, so your kids can go to college as well. Whether it be that or financial stability, we're guaranteed a paycheck on the 1st and 15th of every month. Even if the economy crashes or the government crashes, we're getting paid. Whether it be just normal life skills that you wouldn't get from college. I feel like going to college, knowledge is power. You can never have enough knowledge. And I think college is very important. But I don't think you necessarily learn time management or leadership skills or discipline like the military really instills in you. So, I mean, those are the types of things that we look for, is people that are searching for those things, whether it be education or financial stability, or even just a pride of belonging, being a part of something that's bigger than themselves.
And we talked about Camp Pendleton, close to San Diego. You're from Indiana. Does one get to choose where they go? Oh, I want to be on base in Hawaii, like you said. Do you get to choose, or someone else decides that for you?
So whenever we get done with our training, we get to choose either East Coast, West Coast, or overseas.
Okay.
If you're active duty. If you go the reservist program, which is our part-time program, where you just go to boot camp and then you come back home and you can continue to go to college and stay in California or Indiana or wherever you do live. So if you go the reservist route, you get to choose where you go. So, I mean, we have reservist bases all around here. Seal Beach is really close to here. So they can go to that base. If you're active duty, you get to choose East Coast, West Coast, overseas. Overseas would be Okinawa, Japan. Hawaii is still considered West Coast. So you kind of get to choose the coast. I chose West Coast for my first pick, and I've been here since 2017.
You're never leaving, right?
I don't want to. The weather is hard to beat.
Right. Now talk about the commitment. Once someone says, this is for me, what's the commitment, short-term and long-term?
Short-term commitment, there really isn't a short-term commitment for, so I mean, active duty, it's a 4-year contract. So you're going to be in for 4 years, doing your job day to day for 4 years, and then you can either stay in for 20 years and get a great retirement plan, or you can get out after 4 years. You're still going to get some type of pension, and you get to keep your benefits and whatnot after you get out after 4 years. If you go reserves, then it's a 6-year contract. But let me break it down for you. Yeah. So reserves, you're only working for the Marine Corps 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summer. And then the rest of the time you get to do whatever. Go to college or work a construction job or be a welder, whatever you want to do, as well as be part of the military. So you're going to work those 2 days in the month and then 2 weeks in the summer. And if you add all that up, in a year's time, you're only working a little over a month in total. So, I mean, and you're still getting paid, you're still getting education benefits, and you're still getting medical and dental and vision benefits and everything. That contract is 6 years, but in 6 years, you're only working probably a year, if that, less than a year. So, I mean, you still get the benefits. It does seem like a really big commitment, but the benefits that come with it, as well as the life skills. I can't get past the life skills that I learned just in boot camp alone, and it's 13 weeks.
Top 3 life skills.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Time. Time. You can't change time. You can't stop time. You can't fast forward
Why
time.
not?
You can't rewind time.
Right.
You cannot get time back. Time management is everything, especially when you are trying to reach a goal and become successful in life. Another life skill, just being disciplined and having that self-discipline to make yourself, when your alarm goes off in the morning, and instead of hitting that snooze button, get up out of that bed. And the first thing you should do when you get out of bed is make your bed. If you make your bed in the morning, you're going to feel successful.
I'm not a Marine, and I agree with that. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's true.
It really is. You're already accomplishing something. That breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Eat breakfast after you make your bed. Boom, you knock 2 out.
What are you eating for breakfast? Because you're in amazing shape.
Oh, well, thank you.
What does a Marine eat for breakfast?
Honestly, I ate Cinnamon Toast Crunch this morning.
What? I was expecting some protein omelet, but Cinnamon Toast Crunch, there you go.
Absolutely. No, you're not. You don't have to be on no strict diet or anything, but I eat that for breakfast, and Chipotle is my favorite fast food restaurant. I mean, if that even is considered fast food.
Maybe, but I'll give it to you. It's good.
I mean, they make it fast, so.
And it's good.
Exactly.
And it's healthy.
Yes.
Okay, this is all really good information. If people are interested, their interest has been piqued, how do they find you?
Okay, so I am actually the new recruiter, as she said, for South Bay area. My areas that I recruit for is Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach. My high schools that I recruit out of are Redondo Union, Miracosta, and Redondo Shores. Our office is located at the Del Amo Fashion Center. If you go right by Dick's Sporting Goods, and then there's Crate and Barrel, you'll have a parking garage to your left, and it's going to be on the 2nd level. As soon as you get up to the top of that level, you're going to go straight. And you'll see double glass doors. Go through those doors. We're the very first office on the right. You'll see Marines. And my desk is literally the one right in front of the window. So you'll see me as soon as you get there.
You're like, hi, come on in.
Yes. Like I said, the main reason I do this is to change young men and women's lives. And that's what I'm out here to do. I had the most emotional interview the other day. And this young man was crying by the end of it. His mom was crying by the end of it, because they're like, wow, you literally just painted us a picture on how you're going to change our lives. So, and that's ultimately why I do this. So.
Well, on that note, I thank you for coming in. I hope you have more phone calls like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you again. And come back if you have more success stories.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we will be right back.
Renovation, rebuilds, and redecorating. The South Bay is embracing a refresh of home decor. To discuss the latest design trends, joining us is Jamie Roddy, founder and CEO of Eden LA Interiors. Hi, Jamie. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Tara. Thanks for having me.
So first of all, explain the scope of work you do at Eden LA.
Well, we build, design houses. So we can either design houses from architecture plans, from the ground up, or we can remodel certain spaces, just a kitchen, just a bathroom, or a full scope remodel. But sometimes we'll just do like a room refresh as well. Like if your bedroom just looks a little dated and you want some updating.
So just about everything.
When it comes to the home, yes.
Well, there is such an enthusiasm for design right now, and I'm just curious, what is driving that?
You probably have noticed all the construction trucks all over the South Bay we were talking about earlier. Yes, there is a resurgence. They've been stuck in their homes, girl. Everybody's tired of looking at the same thing. Plus, after being stuck in your house for like 2 years, your kids have wrecked everything.
Yeah, that's true.
So also, we live in a pretty affluent community. So what I've been seeing is that everybody who had saved all that money for the African holiday or this vacation or that, they didn't get to take them last year. So guess what? Now we have budget to redo the kitchen, to redo that guest bathroom, etc. So they're just ready for change. Yeah. And when you can't get out and explore, well, let's kind of renovate what's going on near and dear.
Like right around us, exactly. So what are the specific needs that the South Bay has? Like what kind of calls are specific to the South Bay?
Well, it's funny because when I have new clients, they'll say things like, it's very important that we have this or this. And I go, that's everybody. That's all of us. So some of those needs are, when you live at the beach, you have a lot of friends. So we all need extra entertainment spaces. We need as much seating as possible for when guests just drop by. Also, the schools are so good, so we all are raising our children here, or have already done so, and now the grandkids are coming, and so stain resistance, durability, these things are huge. Plus, we have that whole al fresco lifestyle. So not only are the doors and windows open all the time, so we need furnishings and flooring and these types of things that won't show too much dust and dirt. Along with the pet hair, because we're all pet lovers.
Yeah, everybody in the South Bay, I think, has a pet. Yeah,
at least a couple, exactly. And then, of course, the all-important alfresco dining, the outdoor-indoor lifestyle that we all move here for. So it's funny when people think it's like a unique need, and I'm like, no, that's all your neighbors. That's what we're all doing here. So
yeah. Well, as someone who spends a lot of time on Houzz and Pinterest and going through, like, I'm curious, how would you define the design that's going on in the 2020s compared to what we've seen in the past?
That is a good question. Things are warming up. So I mean that from a palette perspective. For so long we were in gray town, which we're still doing a lot with like gray upholstery and stuff, but that's only so that we can make custom artwork pop. We're using more warmer woods, more warmer colors, and where before everything was gray, beige, white, and blue, seeing a lot more green. People are going nutty on houseplants these days, which I love. Like, we are really bringing in so much more like greenery into the spaces, but also the color green. Curves are really hot. Curves were back in the 80s, and I'm seeing so many round sofas, rounded islands, furniture, credenzas that have more of like a kidney bean shape. So we're really smoothing things out, and less corners, more curves.
And then what would you say screams dated? Like, what do you see it and you're like, oh, gotta get rid of that?
Well, I'm sorry if you have this, but I really am not a fan of gray floors. A lot of people were putting in like these vinyl floors that are gray, or even like gray wood floors. And that is screaming really dated. And that's like a newer thing that quickly got dated. But then you have your old things that are dated. A lot of us around here, we have these Mediterranean homes built in the 90s. And so we
I'm
still
one of those
have, right, but you don't have like outdated mahogany cabinetry, or, you'll have the granite countertops and the browns and things like that. So a lot of people lived in those through COVID, and they're calling us like, we realize this has gone on too long. Let's get this up to date, up to the 2020s.
Well, speaking of going on too long, I think that's one thing people going through a renovation always talk about. Wow, it took so much longer than I thought. What advice would you give to anyone considering a renovation? What are the other, pitfalls that people don't expect?
That is a good question. One thing is take your budget, and it's from, A to C, right? Now take that C, now add 25%, okay? Tell your contractors your budget is C, it's probably gonna go over 25%. The same thing with your timeline. You have to be more patient and you have to allow for things to run over or you will make yourself go bananas. So if your contractor tells you it's gonna be 3 months, give yourself 4 months, even 4.5 before you start getting too cookie about it. Now you can be the squeaky wheel that says, hey, you can take care of your project management and you can check in once a week, do your due diligence. But I see some of my clients drive themselves absolutely bananas, where if they just give themselves a little more time, not been quite so literal about lead times, their lives would just be a lot easier. And we live at the beach here. Like most of us here in the South Bay are pretty chill. So it's not really even most of my South Bay clients, it's not that big of an issue. But the ones who take it literally and they're like screaming at the contractor one day, if it goes over 1 day, like that's no way to live. So just give yourself wiggle room and get ready for a bumpy ride. They say the 3 most stressful things you can do is lose somebody near and dear, move, or go through a renovation. And when and then one thing that I learned early on in my career, this is an actual fact, that more people get divorced during a renovation than any other time. So I always tell my clients, be easy on your partners, but also be easy on yourself and realize how much extra stress you're going through and do whatever you need to like mitigate that while you're going through this extremely stressful process. That's totally worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fascinating. Your house in the end turns out beautiful, but your marriage is destroyed. I mean,
not exactly. So, but if you know this going in and you know that you're bickering with each other, like, you know what, we're fuller right now. We don't have as much room to be chill. So I always just try to warn my clients ahead of time, move out of the house while you renovate. If it's going to take a little longer, go get an Airbnb somewhere. Just like take it easy on yourself because it's a very stressful process. We try to make it easier for them by telling them these things in the beginning, setting them up for success through the process, working with the contractor so it is easier on them, etc. But still, truth be told, it's not, a walk in the park.
Well, you've hit on how to successfully collaborate with your contractor and how to successfully collaborate with your partner, romantic partner. How can a client best prepare to have a successful collaboration with an interior designer?
That is a great question. One thing that I literally will not do, I will not take on any project without tons of inspiration pictures from my clients. So one thing, a way to collaborate is not expecting your interior designer to get inside your head without lots of resources to do so. Don't expect that just because you say blue and modern, that means the same thing to me. Blue and modern to me could be completely different than what you were thinking of for the palette. You could have a really cool blue idea, I could have a warm blue idea, rustic blue, there's so many different ways. So it's like when you go to the hairstylist and you go, make it sort of like this. How about if you show her 13 pictures of people with similar hairstyles and that's what you want? It's just all about open and effective communication. Also, to that note, I always tell people, choose a designer with whom you have a similar communication style. For me, I move really quickly and I make decisions really quickly. People who are also like that really enjoy collaborating with me. Some people who we felt weren't the best match collaborative style are people who are very slow, thoughtful. Maybe they take a long time to make decisions and they want somebody, holding their hand for a very long time while they really like to think things through. This is perfectly reasonable and good, but communication style, it doesn't always match up, and so there's frustration there. And so I always vet my clients as much as they're vetting me, and I always let them know, hey, why don't you interview a few designers that are going to really mesh with your communication style.
That is really insightful advice. I don't think I've ever heard anybody explain it that way. I am curious with your design, like how would you describe your signature look?
Interesting question, because it doesn't matter. So I am not a designer that has a signature look. I am what makes me and our firm unique is that I consider myself a conduit through which my clients' desires flow through. And then what comes out is an end result that's beyond what my client had even hoped was possible for themselves. Okay, so if you look at my portfolio at EdenLA.com, you will see it's quite eclectic. So, I mean, we have we have our classic beach boho look, classic contemporary. I've got some really modern things in there, some more traditional, some more transitional. And, if you ask me what's my favorite, I love a good like Spanish, modern Moroccan thing, but I don't have any of those on my portfolio because my clients haven't hired me for that yet. So yeah, when people ask me like what's my style, I say it's totally irrelevant. I take extra time in the beginning to really understand my clients and their needs and desires. I actually majored in cultural anthropology, so I consider myself somewhat of a specialist of understanding the different ways that people live and love life. You know, we all have certain themes that run consistent here in the South Bay, but everybody's so unique, and so I don't have a cookie cutter kind of way to design for everybody. And I really like finding that from people, getting it out of people, what makes them really tick. I can design a room beautifully in infinite number of ways. So what's great for me is to find out what's your beautiful way and implementing that for you.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, one thing I'm fascinated about you is that you are an interior designer, but you're also a furniture designer. And the question, I've had this conversation with so many people, can you get a sofa that is comfortable and also beautiful at the same time? Because it feels like those comfortable sofas are going away and chairs. Do you have any tips for people, or do you know why that's happening?
I can tell you why you are finding that as a consumer, as an end consumer. Most of the quality furniture stores have kind of disappeared in favor of more boutique things because so you're getting a lot of value engineering from overseas these days too. And so as materials grow more and more expensive, we're using less feather and down, etc. How we get around that is we custom create a lot of our upholstery based on photos and then the tush test. So I have chairs and sofas in my studio and I'm like, sit here, what is comfortable for you? I also know I started out as a furniture designer 15 plus years ago when I was 15. So I know for certain ages of people are going to find things different levels of comfort. When you are older, you like a firmer seat and you like arms to push up on and you like to sit up straight because we tend to get back issues as we get older. When you're 20s, you want it deep and you want to sploosh into it. It's totally different. So there is a lot of that just through experience that I know. But I also sit people down and they say, oh, this is comfortable. And then I'll measure how deep is the seat depth to their legs. And honestly, like I build these things around people. And then we'll see something that's beautiful. And I go, okay, that looks great. It's terribly uncomfortable, but let's take these arms and the back height and let's make the back a little higher. And we can really bespoke these things around people here in LA so it doesn't take 47 weeks to come in, which is also nice.
Well, this has all been very insightful, very helpful information. Thank you. I do want to recommend people follow you on Instagram because it is a fun follow. You have really gorgeous designs. Can you give everybody your Instagram account and where else they can find you?
It is at Eden LA Interiors, and as well we're on the Facebooks and the World Wide Web. Get it? EdenLA.com, like the Garden of Eden, LA.com. You can find us there.
All right, awesome. Well, Jamie Roddy, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yeah.
welcome back to Good Morning South Bay. Okay, so if you've just stumbled upon the show and are like, what is this? We are a live streaming platform reflecting the South Bay lifestyle, covering cities from El Segundo to San Pedro and all the towns in between. We cover topics including health and wellness, fashion and beauty, art and music, food and entertainment, and with this show, local news and events.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and our online newsletter to be notified of any news stories and when we go live. In the meantime, come back every Friday at 11 a.m. to stay up to date on all the latest happenings in the South Bay.
That's right, and speaking of, here's what you and your family can look forward to this weekend in the South Bay.
The Los Angeles International Pin Show is going on today through February 20th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Torrance Marriott Redondo Beach. The Los Angeles International Pin Show is a platform where numerous vendors will be selling inks, new fountain pens, ballpoint pens, and other types of writing instruments. Vintage writing instruments are also available for sale, and there will be a number of experts on hand that can restore vintage pens.
The Los Angeles Acapella Festival 2022 is going on Friday, February 18th through Saturday, February 19th. The time, 5 p.m. through 10:30 p.m. The location is at the El Segundo Performing Arts Center. The Los Angeles Acapella Festival is a weekend-long vocal festival held in beautiful Los Angeles, California each year with the aim to bring the best acapella performers, educators, and enthusiasts together in an academic forum to celebrate, appreciate, and advance vocal music as an art form.
This Saturday, it is train rides in Torrance from noon to 3 p.m. at Wilson Park. Southern California Live Streamers provides mini train rides every first Sunday of the month from 11 to 3 p.m. and every third Saturday of the month from noon to 3 p.m. It's such a wonderful experience with kids, and parents can feel comfortable that all SCLS members are City of Torrance volunteers with annual fingerprint clearance.
A pop-up outdoor comedy club at the Bay Club in Redondo Beach is going on Saturday, February 19th. It starts at 8 p.m. BYOB plus comedians from Netflix, Comedy Central, and Movies Galore. Again, the location is the Bay Club in Redondo Beach on the blue turf out back. It's going to be the party of the new year. Now, guests are encouraged to bring beach chairs, coolers, food, drink, picnic baskets, blankets, etc. They will not have any additional folding chairs at the show, so anything and everything is welcome.
This Saturday, join the Kids Club X Roundhouse Aquarium from 1 to 2 p.m. at Manhattan Village. Come for a fun afternoon of ocean-themed games, activities, and crafts with the Roundhouse Aquarium in Manhattan Beach. The class size is limited, so you do need to RSVP.
On February 19th is the Outdoor Volunteer Day at the White Point Nature Preserve, and the location is the Palos Verdes Land Conservancy. Get outdoors and make a difference by helping the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy remove invasive grasses to enable rare coastal sage scrub habitat to thrive as a home of local native plants and wildlife.
Available this Sunday, it's the Pacific Coast Highway between LA and San Diego Smartphone Audio Driving Tour. You can follow the suggested route along the Pacific Coast Highway and discover one of the most scenic drives in the world. You start from Long Beach or anywhere else along the route between LA and San Diego, and the tour experience is the same going either direction. Learn about cities and towns nestled along the coast, including Oceanside, Carlsbad, and Dana Point. They point out must-see sites like the Sunset Beach and Torrey Pines, and learn about Louis Zamperini, Crystal Cove State Park, and the RMS Queen Mary. With no time constraints, you can enjoy the freedom to stop anywhere and take your time exploring. Tour guide commentary plays automatically, and there's an easy-to-navigate live GPS map. To access, download the Trip Media Tours app.
South Bay Pop-Ups wants you to come celebrate, shop, eat, and enjoy with the community. Yes, at North Torrance Girls Softball League, enjoy your Saturday by shopping with 60-plus vendors selling unique clothing, jewelry, treats, plants, accessories, food, and more. They'll also have fun activities for those who just want to come out and enjoy time with their family and friends. Once again, the time is Sunday, February 20th at 10 a.m., and it actually goes through February 21st at 3 p.m. Now check out what you can expect at the February pop-up event. You have 60-plus exclusive vendors, food vendors, outdoor games, kid play area, a live DJ, reptile show, outdoor drinks and dining, family and pet friendly areas, free face painting, giveaway raffles. It's an amazing outdoor market with a great small business community.
Mad Science Fire and Ice is occurring on Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. at McNamara Park. Learn about science in a fun, entertaining, and educational live performance by Mad Science. And for your comfort, you want to bring your own blanket to sit on. No registration is required. This event is sponsored by the Torrance Refining Company.
And if you have a local story or event that you would like to tell us about, please do so on our website. Follow the link on the homepage to where you can submit your story, because it's all about community and engagement, and that cannot happen without you. So take care of you, your town, and each other.
Thanks for watching.